Hello, this is Dr. Ramon Lusaraga again, and this is the second of our semester's mini videos, mini lectures for business ethics. Now, you've gotten your feet wet with Basil, and for next Tuesday's class, I'm going to ask you to read yet another sermon in this, his Sermons on Social Justice, specifically the sermon in time of famine and drought. I would like you to read over again the first two sermons and then add in the time of famine and drought as your third. And the reason why I want you to look over the first two sermons again, the ones that you've already read, and then add the one about famine and drought, is to address the problem that I am going to be presenting for Tuesday's class. And that is, how should the Christian handle emergencies and crises according to Basil, according to the Church Fathers? Today, in this day and age, we are told by the government and we are told by other agencies, we are probably even told by our pastors, to have an emergency kit, to have things set aside, to have things put away, placed in reserve in case of emergencies. Have monies set aside. I read a report once saying that you should have $20,000 set aside for a rainy day fund, or other money set aside for emergencies, and that you need to have a hoard of food or water. But you've read Basil, and Basil has many things to say about saving, about hoarding, which will lead you to ask, well, how should the Christian community handle emergencies? Well, Basil addresses that question, because unlike today, where we have EMS, we have the fire department, we have police, we have FEMA, we have all sorts of means and resources at our disposal to handle emergencies and crises. Well, Basil did not have that infrastructure, even though he was in the heart of the Roman Empire, in Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey, with its roads and its aqueducts and other resources. Nonetheless, in the event of a crisis, generally a community had to rely on its own resources, its own wits. So, with that context in mind, that historical context in mind, how does Basil answer the question that you may have? Well, if this is your view, Basil, about saving, about hoarding supplies, that view that you've read about in the first two sermons, how would you handle a crisis? How would you handle an emergency? And so, for our discussion Tuesday, we will tackle this problem, the problem of emergencies and crises, and discuss whether Basil's viewpoint has merit. Or maybe it doesn't make any sense at all. Maybe it makes complete and perfect sense. We'll find out. Enjoy.